All right, I think we're going live.
All right.
I think we are entering the world of online video, guys. Welcome. Thanks so much. Another beautiful Monday here. We've got plus temperatures and no snow, although it was snowing this weekend.
Yes.
And it was a really fun weekend. We went, oh, good morning, Keyspire. Sorry about that. It was a really fun weekend. We had a meetup in Saturday night in Toronto area here. Walter Lincoln and Natasha O'Farrell hosted one at Jack Astor's, and man, there was like, I don't know, 50 people, 40, I don't know, there was a lot of people.
I think it was actually maybe closer to 100. It was great to have the opportunity to, see very familiar faces, finally meet some people in person. But actually, for me, the surprise was actually to meet new members.
Yeah,
There was quite a few members that just came to looking for that opportunity to connect, and it was great just to have that medium.
yeah, totally. Yeah, that was a surprise, and that was not
Mhm.
really nice to see. I mean, I shouldn't say a surprise. We've only been going to the meetups now for less than a year because of the lockdowns in our province and everything that happened over the past 2 years. So it's just interesting and great to see a lot of new faces. So thanks for coming out and thanks for
And
hosting that, guys.
yes, and in the community too, it's great to continue to see your new faces and introducing yourself. So keep doing that, because that's how we're gonna be able to even connect more. And when the meetups happen, then we now can put the familiar face. So keep doing that, and welcome.
Welcome, yeah, the new members. It's I see them posting, and usually the common theme is the first sentences, stepping out of my comfort zone here, and we totally get that. I mean, it's stepping out of your comfort zone is a huge step forward in real estate investing and just hanging out with the awesome people. And when these meetups are happening and you're driving there like we have in the past, thinking, what am I going to talk about? We don't know anybody, we don't know anything, and we don't have anything. We've been there, and you know what, it's just an awesome group of people and nobody's judging. So just continue going up to these things as often as possible.
And everyone is like-minded individuals, just like our guest this morning that we're bringing on board.
Yeah, we have great guests, and sorry we were a little late, but we were just having a fun conversation just beforehand here. So let me please bring on Diana and Jon Benitez from the waiting room here, and they are joining us. They've been busy keeping headed. Guys, how's it going?
Hi.
Hello.
So
Good morning. Good morning.
thank you for joining us. I love the antlers behind Diana's head there. It looks like they're
Oh my gosh. I just realized that it's literally
awesome. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's been a fun journey with doing this morning show with Joe, and then now Irismar's joining us. Joe takes a break, and just going down this journey of personal development and trying to learn and
just grow and really get the insights, because sometimes we get caught up in the successes, right? And you heard me say before, I've been guilty of making comparisons, but I also know that it's not easy all the time, right? But that's what we kind of bring you on to learn from you and keep learning, because through sharing is how we learn and grow.
Yeah, like we learned a lot about you guys when you're on the stage there at Keyspire. But how long ago did you join Keyspire again?
2019.
March 2019. Oh, our 3-year anniversary is on March 17th.
Oh,
March
awesome.
17th is our 3-year anniversary.
Yes.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Awesome. So that was all in person back then. You guys had the in-person workshops and all that. So you got to experience what it's like to celebrate that thrill and excitement.
3-day hardcore of it's like a whole new world. It just opened our eyes, and the stuff we learned on that 3-day, right?
Yeah. A lot of learning.
And it wasn't as easy as a lot of us like to imagine that it's going to be.
No, definitely not. We went through a lot of challenges with our first one, for sure. We definitely didn't pick an easy path. The model we have picked and strategy we had picked that aligned with our goals was the flip to yourself model, right? So purchasing underperforming multifamily,
or the burst strategy.
Yeah, but let's flip to yourself and and turning that around. And we definitely went through a lot of challenges with that first, but it's challenges that really have made us who we are today, because you learn, like, every challenge and problem, you realize it just becomes an opportunity to learn and grow, right? It's not a problem. There's always a solution. That took time too to resonate with us.
Yeah, it's true.
The first few adversities we faced, it was like, laying on the couch, questioning what we're doing, and many times even just testing our marriage, because like we were new to this, and you have to get used to working. We had our own lives, our own positions in our jobs, and now coming together and trying to get that to form out. Yeah, and just going right in it without a plan.
It's a business partner, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, and you have to, you've lived each other for so long, you know each other in and out, but now it's like, here's the new task, business, right?
And honestly, we learned as we went along. And so today, if we can share those challenges, like, there are lessons you can learn which we're implementing now that we've realized to grow and scale our business in this. But hopefully what we've gone through, and as people are starting out, are things that they can try to implement at the start to maybe save them for, additional headaches.
For sure.
But you're only going to learn if you live it. So we can only share our challenges and hope, that it can help others.
And you guys are doing this also. I mean, how old are your children?
Yes, they're 5 and 8 now. Oh my gosh, at the time, 5 and 8, they're 2 and 5 then. Yeah. They're 5 and 8 now. Yeah. Incredible. And that's why we had to change some of the way we did things, because in the beginning, they were starting to resent the properties. I mean, they call everything the properties, and they were resenting it to a point where they're like, do you smell like the property? And we had to sort of change the way we were doing things, because in the end, we're doing this for them. Right? Like, you're trying to build generational wealth. We're trying to lead by example, but it's this fine balance with young kids. Like, you don't want them to resent or neglect what we're doing, because we're doing it for them. And, you're hopefully.
Yeah, you want them to absorb, not resent.
Yeah, right? Hopefully they take this path. But if they just think of, like, mom and daddy are always gone, mom and daddy always have to have a meeting, that they can't do extra cuddles at night, like things like that, we have to be very careful that how that could imprint on them. And so that's also part of the challenges that we've learned throughout as well.
No, and that's amazing to hear and share, because I know several members in the community are like that. So if I may, let's break your challenges into the business and personal side, right? Because they're definitely, you face both. So let's go with the business. We all want that multi-unit underperforming, because it's, sure, that's how we're going to maximize, but it's not an easy road, right?
That's right. Great returns, but definitely like not the easiest path forward. Especially some of the things we saw. And our first property was a underperforming fourplex. And it, like, if you saw it at first glance, is not pretty, right? Like cockroaches everywhere. Yeah, like it was the things if I could share, if you could see the stuff that we saw.
Yeah.
And so one lesson learned was there was a lot of work that needed to be done. We knew that, and we could see the potential, we ran the numbers, but it was not pretty. It was very scary looking. And we thought, hey, let's save money and get our uncle to help with the renovations. So, he took him on a tour on the work to be done. And we got back to our place, and right away, he's just like, why don't you invest in the stock market? Like, I do the stock market, I get an 8% return. And, it wasn't, we weren't prepared for that. And it was after that, and we were just like so excited to share what we were doing. And then trying to save money. And that's where John's like, you know what? You can't tell everybody. Okay. Like, everyone's not going to get this. And so that was the first thing. And I think a lot of people go through this. Like, from that day on, we actually didn't tell anybody, our family and friends, what we were doing. We have very different lives. Like we have private Instagram and Facebook, like we have that personal. It's completely different from the from the, real estate side.
We
And-
learned that. We learned that also. Sorry, but
Yeah.
when we first joined, we were so excited, and we thought, let's share this with our friends and tell them about this journey and this path and how they can help themselves. And then it just got like what you experienced there too. It's just now I regret when they mentioning it to them, because now when they bring it up, they're still not positive about it, and they still haven't bothered taking any steps to educate themselves. I'm just like, I don't even want to talk about it with you anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's a mindset, right?
Yeah, so that's why, after that comment, we vowed not to tell family and friends unless they ask. My parents and my sibling, like, they knew, and they're very supportive. And then, so because we didn't have that support to turn to, it honestly, the biggest thing for us, and was been probably the biggest value of Keyspire, is the network. And we have built this great support of network in Keyspire, and that's who we would turn to when we had problems. That's who we would turn to whenever we feel down. Honestly, what lifts us up is reaching out to the network. That's why we have. That's why we have these to hold them. We even have them we've had one in our home.
Yeah.
Because it's meetups that have given us the confidence, and the relationships you build have been key to our success.
Well, I know that because I mention you guys often, because you guys had, I think, what was the first meetup when the province opened up last year, and
that was a good time. That was a good time.
Yeah, it was a great time. And I was just saying this before you guys came on to the community here, is I was actually talking about myself, and we're driving to your place, and in my head I'm saying, what are we going to talk about? We don't know anybody, we don't have anything, and we don't know anything. And I thought, or is this just one of those things that Irismar and I are going to stand in the corner of somebody's house and
was not the case.
Eat off of a plate, and then
the
here we
fear
are.
of the unknown, right?
Yeah,
Gets into your head.
Yeah.
It was totally so, and then here we are, like we met just like, I don't know, 50 awesome people. No, it's 30 because we were under lockdown. Okay. So
I had to keep it 30 because of lockdown. We would have had more. Yeah.
Yes.
It seemed like there was a lot more.
Yeah, I think there might have been, but that and then going to a couple more meetups, and then that inspired us to have host a party also, and thank you for coming to that. And it's just so awesome, and it's awesome for the community and awesome for sharing. So thank you also, guys, for always sharing.
But I need to ask, kind of bringing us back to the challenge of you having to go through the balance of, okay, my uncle is not in the same page, so clearly we could assume or conclude that. Did he proceed with helping you with the renovations, or was that a point that you say no?
No, he didn't.
One day of demo, but then that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Okay, so that actually moves into the second challenge and lesson learned. We thought we were going to do the renovations. No, I did not look into a contractor. We're like, we're going to do this. So we did. It was probably about a month. We did demo. We had. The walls were like nicotine stained yellow, like it smelled, and
it was dripping.
Yeah, so we did the paint of that. What do we use? Kills.
Yeah,
we did all that work. So we did some work ourselves for about a month, but that's when we were there weekends and evenings. We weren't seeing our kids. Right. That's when they started to resent things. And it's like, you're going to the property again. And then we would come home, and they're like, oh, you smell like the property. And I'm like, this is not good. And that's when I'm like, okay, we need to get help. We need to hire the right person in here. We need to hire a contractor. And that's when we decided, which we should have done from the beginning, is hire the right people to do the job.
Yeah.
Right
away.
Find the right people to do it for time.
Yep, hire them.
And they'll do it better and faster.
Yeah.
We're not contractors. And we should have done that. We should have done that at the start, but we didn't. But again,
don't knock yourself for that. My gosh. Listen, no, that it's amazing. How far was the property from your residence?
At the time, it was about half an hour.
Okay.
In Hamilton.
So it wasn't that bad, but it was just going there every single day was it is challenging.
Yeah. So.
Oh. I feel, I mean, you guys have, this is so many years later, but I mean, just to hear, your children giving that to you, and you know that really tears at your heart, I'm sure, and it must be
It
really
does.
difficult.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does. It does, because we're doing this for them.
Mhm.
But what I guess one positive of us being around was that we got to know the tenants. We did have 2 inherited tenants,
Mhm.
and that's when we got, that's when John got to know them, and trying to understand their story. Again, they were not living in very good conditions. So it was
Right.
trying to see and work with them, and painting and telling the story that, like, what you're living in is not safe. And how did you live in this environment for that long? And we're going to change this around. And they could see us work, because we had 2 vacant units, and they could see the work being done. And they knew that eventually, like, yes, we need to work on your units too. And especially since they had provided a list of concerns that they were having in their units.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that there was some, I guess there was some
That was a golden ticket too, though.
positives of
I think
being
you should say
around the
that.
property.
I
Yeah.
think if you have inherited tenants, just give them a piece of paper and say, write down everything, all the problems. That was huge. That opened up a lot for
Mhm.
us.
And I think that was another challenge. Definitely the inherited tenants. They're not ones that we screened. And so that was definitely a challenge.
Oh yeah.
I can't even
Oh yeah.
so much.
So that's very scary, 100%. And I know
Yes.
like that would be a fear factor, and that might even consider, do I want to inherit or not? So having faced that challenge that you now have them, what was like the biggest lesson aside from getting to know them to lead you into that turnaround, right? Because what we heard is like casualties or replace the tenant.
The biggest was honestly being consistent and documenting. We inherited tenants that they didn't get along. Some of them had aggression issues. One of our inherited tenants had assaulted our contractor in a rage. Yes, we have been to the LTB 4 times, and we know we have learned being there, and we sat in that courtroom and we listened to the stories, and it is very like tenant friendly and sided. But if you document and you're consistent and you hire a good paralegal, we're not doing all this paperwork, it can turn out in your favor. So he did assault a contractor. We went to the LTB. They gave him a second chance under the condition that, he does not impair the safety of a tenant or doesn't do an illegal act. Well, 6 months later, he had gone through a rage and fight with his spouse to the point where a tenant, could hear it and called 911, and the dispatcher could even hear the rage. And he's like, just leave the building, called the cops, and his spouse, she's just acting like, oh no, nothing happened. I'm fine. And then, so we told our paralegal the story, and she's like, nope, this is like, he impaired the safety of a tenant in the building, filed, went to the LTB again. And we weren't sure on the outcome when we got to that trial. We weren't sure what it was going to be, right? Because she's listening to everyone's side. But eventually it was like, we got it in the mail, right? Remember the court order for the eviction dates, and the system does work. But again, be consistent and document everything. Yeah.
That's very important. I could definitely use more discipline there in that area. Irismar is
every phone call, and again,
really?
Most people have a property manager. We did the property management. That was something we wanted to do as a first, to learn everything, the ins and outs.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you guys really put a lot on your plate in the beginning here, though. So
yeah, we did.
We did.
Not gonna lie,
but we've learned so much that we have such right. I'll admit, hands down, we have a very thorough and good tenant screening process. We have the best tenants, honestly. Like now, we do manage 2 properties, and that probably will be it. But it's low maintenance.
Yeah. You train them too, right? You tell, they know the expectations walking in. So, right.
That's your reward.
We've got good people here. It doesn't take much of our time, really, and such a good system that we put in place.
So, in terms of my own personal development, I think sometimes we share this also, is people that we've spoken to say, okay, what type of pain are you willing to take on in order to, get
Achieve
ahead
that
and
goal
achieve
faster.
your goal in real estate investing? And I was like, oh, I don't want too much pain. I'm delicate. I'm
Fine.
delicate.
That's fine. You're right. Like you don't have to. Yeah, because
You mean
you could.
well,
you know
pain
what?
means like what? Pain is like mistakes.
Well,
Like
for
what
me,
we're doing.
pain
But that's
is
why there's so many
fear.
options.
Yeah.
You guys put, I mean, you guys put in, you just talked about the stresses you went through, like with,
Yeah.
relationship, family,
Yes.
Yeah.
money,
It took
And
drama.
again,
a
exactly.
lot of drama.
And that's where it took a toll on our marriage because the stress we'd face from our tenants and again, this was new for us. So even just the way they would talk to us, we weren't used to people talking to us, like swearing at us, calling us like low lives and blah, like we just weren't used to that. We weren't mentally prepared for that. So initially that
you could tell them the transition, right?
Yeah,
so
initially that affected us.
The like from having you effing slumlord blah blah blah, now it's have a nice day, enjoy your day. Like it's, see
Enjoy
what I mean?
the
Like
holidays with your
what
family.
a huge 360 that we
Well, it was you. A lot of it was
yeah,
John.
just
like literally John also was like
psychology.
it was like he was teaching him how to be a good human, right?
Yeah.
And how you talk. It's like, don't talk to us like this. And he would just call them. Don't,
This
because
is
everyone
well, this is the same tenant. I thought you meant you got the old tenant was saying these types of things in the new tenant, but you were able to change a guy around.
change the behavior
Three.
of that inherited
There was
tenant.
3. There was the couple and then there was the one, right? So
It makes
Yeah,
you wonder what the landlord, the owner, the previous owner or property management was like beforehand. Then, like
Exactly.
I think
And that's why he's the way he
yeah.
was. It's probably the landlord didn't care. And look at the state of the building was decrepit. So he's just thinking we're another slumlord coming in here. But no, we were like, we want to talk. Let's talk about this. Don't text me an email. Like, just pick up the phone and talk. Right.
Yeah,
and it was, But in the end, we tried to help, and it was his own rage that he couldn't control that got him out. So,
oh, wow.
But I guess since you said, it was all John, and John, you were able to turn that around. It probably was not easy because you having that much negativity coming at you. How do you find yourself in that position that, yes, you know what your goal is, you know what you're going to, but that must take a toll. I understand you alluded to the relationship part, that personal one. How do you manage to do it every day?
yeah.
Such a great question. You need thick skin. You need thick skin, and that was the challenging part, is trying to get it right. She helped a lot. The goals helped a lot. When you're down and out, it's just like, I'm at the bottom right now. You gotta just think about the why, think about the goals, right? Like just talking to myself all the time. And, ever since I started talking to myself, it was like, hey, it helped a lot. I'll look in the mirror, I'll be like, hey, you know what? You're going to crush it. You're going to crush it today. You're going to crush it. And it helped. It does help a lot. You got to let it out. And when you don't, you trust me, it works, man. Like she trained me, like, manifest, let it out, throw it out there. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm going to get this tenant out. We will. Oh, I don't know if you want to tell that story. Tell that story.
We have time. Oh, that's so funny. We had this story where after that LTB, like he had hit the contractor, then we had the second LTB meeting because of the second incident, and we weren't sure what the outcome was going to be. You didn't know, right?
No, but hold on. This was the 4th time,
as I said.
right? Okay,
and then John's like, he was talking with the tenant, like, we're never going to get him out of there. And I said, don't say that. I said, don't say that. Like, don't put it into existence. Maybe it will take time, but if we're consistent and we're on top of it, it's going to happen. And we actually got into a fight about it because I'm like, and he couldn't understand me because but look at this system. And I said, don't worry about it. Just, we will get there. Don't will it into the universe. And you know what's so funny? The next day we got a letter, and it was the court order of his eviction date. I took a picture. I'm like, told you so. Like,
so
never question me again.
Some advice for all the males: they're always right.
The woman's always right.
Always right, man. Always right. So that helped a lot. Like, is the thick skin, because like I just talking to them. and letting them know that you're serious, just about anything. Like, I'm here to take care of you, right? And he didn't. And it took me a long time for him to understand that. He thought I was just like this slumlord, whatever. But whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
lesson learned.
Yeah,
you
and-
just need thick skin.
And all these lessons learned on our first property has really, again, like I said, has only made us stronger, wiser, better. And we know what we need to do to grow. And it's hire the right people, document, build procedures and
Document.
systemize so
Document
that
is
like
huge. Yeah.
you can grow and scale. Right. And it's the first really that was just so important. We learned firsthand. We had no choice. We just put ourselves in there.
Jumped
Right?
in the fire, man.
Right. But yeah.
But I had to ask you, sorry. You know, I think should we, you know, once we embark in that journey, I'm very grateful I have a great support partner. But if I don't have a supporting or I'm a solo, how do I take my emotions out if I'm not necessarily tough mentally? Because you just said, you know, you need to have that mental toughness. So
You do. It's all mental
But-
toughness.
That we built that, like you're gonna face it, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna get you, then that's normal.
Yeah, it
But you
is.
start like you will just
Well, it goes back to what Jim was saying about the pain, right? Like, you have to jump in, you got to take the action, you got to do it. And then that's the only way you'll learn. And that's how you get the mental strength becomes stronger and stronger and stronger.
yeah,
right?
you're gonna get knocked down, you will, but pick yourself up
Yeah.
and it will make
Yeah.
you stronger. And your mindset will change and you'll just realize that every problem you're like, you know what? Here's a solution. We'll figure it out. You know, we've gotten properties that got robbed. We have a property that got like caught on fire. Like we've been through a lot of
Oh my
crap
God.
now. We're like, oh, you know what? That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Exactly what Irismar said. You got the moment you can learn how to take the emotion out, you're gonna be great. You're gonna be good. Yeah, because
Well-
it is a business, right?
Like you guys have shared a lot of struggles and pain that you went through, and it's actually inspiring me, because I'm thinking, okay, you know what, maybe I will be able to go down this path and develop myself and grow.
Well, no, you
and-
will. You will.
You
Yeah.
will.
You will. You will.
You will. And
Yeah.
you have like, again, build that support too, right? Like that's going to be key.
Right on.
Yeah. You got me, man. You guys got me.
thank you. But I guess
I'm gonna help
to-
you.
It's not just a pretty face.
I'm gonna help you.
No, but
Awesome.
honestly, kick out there. What John is saying is what we took us a long time to realize because we were very quiet is the fact that the community is so amazing. All you need to do is reach out to anyone. And it takes just one post. Say,
That's
I'm
it.
having this
Yeah.
trouble, and the community will go and drive you in, right? Because that's what
That's
they
it.
built.
Yeah.
And-
Even a
and I-
reply too.
Mhm.
And I remember saying, you know, early on too, because you know, one of the things is you know, build your team. And I thought, you know, how am I gonna, you know, who do I know? I don't know. How can I build a team? Like now I'm kind of scared again because we were you know, in the early days when we weren't going to the networking events, and again, I think that's the key about networking in these Zoom calls and the evening Zoom calls that you're too tired to join, but you should join them anyway, and you're going to make connections and you're going to hear people and you're going to understand somebody's a contractor, somebody's a
Yeah.
Tyler or something like that. So
Well, one
Yeah.
conversation could change your life. Remember that.
And again, like another huge, again, from these challenges and lesson learned is like build relationships. This whole industry is about building good relationships. That's key, you know, like to the point where, again, we were at this cottage you're at and trying to find contractors and people, but we've built such a good relationship with our team that they're going to come here. Like they're going to come here for us. They're going to stay here for a week. I don't have to go out and try to vet a whole new set of people or what in this area that we don't know.
right.
And again, just build good relationships. And the only way that happens is consistency, getting out there, good communication.
And taking care of them too, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and taking care of them.
knowing
yeah.
that you're serious, right? It's not a one-stop shop. I need your help, you know, like
Mhm.
Awesome.
not just one time, right? Just yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
your property there is hours from I guess where your contractor lives too, I imagine. It's quite the
Yeah,
drive.
Yeah.
3 hours
3
away.
hours.
Yeah.
Incredible. Okay, so yeah, build your team and treat them well and have a, have that open relationship where they understand their value and that you recognize that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well said.
Good for you guys. Wow.
goodness.
And thank you so much. I mean, really inspiring. Thank you.
This session
Oh.
has been incredible. So no, thank you. I would think
Thank
I
you.
made the mistake of assuming that everything is just roses. And yes, that's very gullible to say, but at times
Yeah, I know.
just focus on that positivity, right? Because this is what you do and this is, but this has been amazing because you have given us a glimpse in the challenges and the toll that it took. It's not that it's taking it with you, right? You have risen above that and you're now giving us insight. Like I'm not as afraid, but you're giving me a picture of this is what could be expected. It is not
Reality.
pretty.
Yeah,
Be prepared.
Yeah.
Be prepared for the challenges.
Yeah, be prepared, right? Like, and I think, John, you might have said it when we first connected, but listen and then react.
Oh, STR. Yeah, stop.
He teaches my kids our kids this. Sorry.
It's funny because I'll teach my kids something and I teach my tenants the same thing. It's interesting, just how the mind works. Stop, think, react. And if you do it in all the wrong order, something's going to happen, right? So just stop, think, then react, right?
Awesome
Yeah.
piece of advice. Thank you. Well, anything
No.
else? Thanks, guys.
I think it's been incredible. Thank you so much.
Yes,
I'm sure
and-
the
and-
community.
Thank you for
Yeah, for
doing
having
this,
us.
for being so consistent and giving back. Like this is a lot of work too. Like thank you guys, and for Jim for having us on as your guests on your birthday.
Happy birthday, buddy.
Thank you.
I'm very honored.
Day to you.
Thanks, guys. That's you know what? It was a real gift having you guys here and sharing this
Aw,
with
thanks,
us.
man.
So I appreciate it, and we'll be back next week, Keyspire. So I appreciate everybody
Yes.
watching. Be good to one another. Reach out, build your network, and be good to one another.
Awesome. Have a great week, Inspire.
Thank you.
Yes.
Take
Thank
care,
you.
everyone.
Great.